Anthropic lets Claude refuse to serve the rude and abusive. Perplexity makes nice with revenue sharing for publishers. Bloomberg says that Apple is exploring Google's Gemini for a Siri overhaul. Trump orders China to stop holding back on rare minerals, but will they listen? And the US data contradicts headlines about back to office. Welcome to #Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. Anthropic is giving its chatbot Claude the ability to disconnect from conversations when they become abusive because they make Claude uncomfortable. The company insists it's not saying that Claude is alive or conscious, but Anthropic does admit that the model shows signs of what it calls distress in extreme cases, effectively conceding that Claude experiences some form of discomfort when subjected to abusive prompts. That idea has drawn fresh attention on how humans treat chatbots. You may remember that a few months back, Google co-founder Sergey Brin joked, well, not entirely in jest, that all models tended to do better if you threaten them with physical violence, a line that actually sparked some criticism, because, in fact, most users lean the opposite way. Surveys show that the majority of people say please and thank you to chatbots, and it's not just Canadians who have this habit. Sam Altman once claimed that this was costing OpenAI millions in processing. So politeness persists, maybe because people are basically much nicer than we think from seeing them on social media. Or maybe there's the suspicion that AI might one day remember how it's treated. A recent study found 2/3 of ChatGPT users attribute at least some chance of consciousness to the system. And Anthropic's own researcher, Kyle Fish, has gone further, estimating a 15% probability, a 1 in 6 chance, that today's AI has some form of awareness. But even if you don't believe that, as all of the major chatbots now have the ability to remember their encounters, and most of us believe that superintelligence is inevitable, it might not be a bad strategy, because even if they aren't aware, they might remember when they do meet the superintelligence. If AI companies are thought of as thieves or crooks by publishers, Perplexity would be public enemy number one. The startup has faced mounting criticism for allegedly crawling news sites even when told not to, disguising its bots to slip past blocks, and pulling content into its AI summaries without permission. This has led to some lawsuits from major publishers including Nikkei and Asahi Shimbun in Japan, which are seeking millions in damages, demanding Perplexity delete their content. But now, the company is trying to play nice. It's just announced Comet Plus, a $5 per month AI-powered browser subscription. And the pitch is simple. Participating publishers get to keep 80% of the revenue, while Perplexity keeps 20% to cover the compute costs. To sweeten the offer, Perplexity has set aside a $42.5 million fund to guarantee payouts for early partners. Comet Plus will launch with select publishers, promising an ad-free browsing experience for readers while creating a revenue stream for the content creators who feel AI has been siphoning their work for free. Perplexity calls it a way to pay for the open web. It's an innovative olive branch, but with lawsuits still piling up and trust already frayed, the question is whether Comet Plus is a turning point or just damage control. If this hadn't come from Bloomberg, I'd be gun-shy about reporting another possible suitor for Apple in the AI arena. But Bloomberg is reporting that Apple is in early exploratory talks with Google about licensing its Gemini AI model to power a revamped version of Siri as early as next year. According to the report, Google is already training a custom Gemini system designed to run on Apple servers, preserving the company's strict privacy stance. No one is reporting that Apple has made a decision yet, and presumably the company is still weighing whether it wants to continue with its own models or partner with an outside provider. But Bloomberg and others have reported that Apple has also had discussions with OpenAI and Anthropic in the past year. According to the speculation, there are persistent rumors online that Apple is testing two parallel versions of Siri. One powered by its in-house technology and another built on an external AI like Gemini. These details haven't been confirmed, but they reflect the wider industry expectation that Apple's still hedging its bets. But if Apple does license Gemini, it would mark a rare break from its tradition of building everything in-house, and a public acknowledgement that Siri may need outside help to catch up, and thank God, it would also mean an end to the endless speculation. We use magnets every day without a second thought, but not these ones. These magnets are the heart of modern tech and are made from rare earth elements, precious, hard-to-refine minerals essential for powering everything from electric vehicles to new humanoid robots. And China dominates this sector, accounting for roughly 90% of the global rare earth magnet production and 90% of processing capacity, making things like neodymium iron boron magnets practically synonymous with Chinese control. Meanwhile, the US is scrambling. It has only one operating rare earth processing facility in California and limited refining capabilities. When specialized rare earth magnets are needed for defense systems as well, China has choked back on the supply and threatened to cut it off entirely. And the U.S. has no guarantee of availability. So President Trump is up the stakes. He's warning that if China refuses to supply these magnets, the U.S. will slap a 200% tariff on them. But Beijing has called the bluff before with export controls. Back in April, it added rare earth magnets to its restricted export list, sending supply shocks through Western industries. And this isn't just posturing. These tiny components turn power in motion in everything from smartphones and EVs to drones and robots. So if China ever pulls the plug, production in the West could screech to a halt or at least jerk to a very big slowdown. And add to that, China knows how to play the game of delay without really saying no. They've done it before. So, who really holds all the cards, to use President Trump's favorite phrase, and who is bluffing? It's not entirely clear until, to extend the metaphor, somebody calls. If you just go by the headlines, you'd think every company is ordering employees back to the office. But new data from the US Census Bureau's Business Trends and Outlook survey paints a much different picture. Based on responses from more than 150,000 firms between August 2024 and January 2025, the survey shows that remote work has stabilized at what could only be termed an equilibrium. Roughly 1 in 5 U.S. employees work from home at least part of the week, and those numbers haven't budged much over the past year. What's more, most firms offering remote or hybrid arrangements intend to keep them. Census Bureau researchers note that the sharp post-pandemic declines in remote work have leveled off, suggesting hybrid and flexible models may be here to stay. Even on the big concerns about productivity, there's no evidence in the data that employers have any concerns, despite the headlines. The only industries that seem exempt are where it makes sense for employees to have to be on site: hospitality, food preparation, medical, and the like. Now, this doesn't mean that back-to-office mandates aren't happening with some big-name employers who have pulled staff back in. But the broad national trend is far less dramatic than the headlines suggest, even for tech businesses. It's a reminder to all of us, including me, that headlines can be deceiving, and sometimes you just have to wait for the real data. And that's our show. If you like what we're doing, please share the show with others. Give us a like or comment on your favorite podcast app or site. We are found everywhere: Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and more. We're back on Alexa and Google speakers as well. And we'd love to hear from you. You can reach me at technewsday.ca or .com. Just go to the Contact Us page. And while you're there, if you want to support what we're doing, please go to the Donate tab and consider contributing the cost of a cup of coffee a month to support the show. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just leave a comment under the video. But your contributions would be gratefully accepted as well. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a wonderful Wednesday.